This podcast gets really raunchy. People have graphic sex while lying on hamburgers.
So who of y'all out there likes hamburgers?
Have you ever thought of hamburgers in a sexual way?
Have you ever wanted to just, like,
do stuff
with a hamburger? You know?
Yeah, we're gonna find out today.
Warning. The following podcast contains adult languages and mature subject matter intended for adult audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
We're gonna find out today just how erotic hamburgers can be.
Yep.
In this very special 20-second episode of Rancid Readings.
Recorded on January 24th of the new year, 2018.
This is our first episode of the new year.
Yep.
Because we've been lazy piles of shit and haven't recorded anything.
Well, holidays are tough.
Yeah, I mean.
But anyway, we're returning with a treat that I found on Amazon called "Humping the Ham Bandit" by Leonard Delaney.
By legendary super author Leonard Delaney.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll read more of his work in the future.
Possibly. From what I've heard, he's something. Do we want to read about the author before we start into this
sure.
Tasty treat?
So there's a picture of him, and he's a pretty average-looking guy wearing aviators and a pilot jacket.
Yeah, it's like a leather jacket with like the big fur collar. It doesn't look quite like a pilot's jacket, but it looks like if he'd spent more money on it, it could be a pilot's jacket.
Leonard Delaney has been a freelance novelist since 2012. He writes from the heart instead of wasting time with research or experience. Living a clean lifestyle has allowed Leonard to focus on doing good in school, honing his writing, and spending the occasional night on the town with a milkshake and a hamburger. He lives well outside of Toronto with his mother and her cat. Let it be known that Leonard has recently broke up with his long-distance girlfriend Misty, aka Aowen16, because she stopped responding to his Facebook messages, likely due to the jealousy over his success. Leonard's ultimate goal is to top the ebook charts on the website Amazon.com.
Now, I'd like to point out that every time I've read about the author about him, it's very, very much the same, except that there's a slightly different blurb about his long-distance girlfriend. On Amazon, his about page says, he's currently in a long-distance relationship with his girlfriend Misty, aka Aowen16, although she has stopped responding to his DMs, but he remains hopeful for the future.
Oh my god.
So I think that's Misty is his Ted Cobbler, if you will.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so this is his novel, Humping the Ham Bandit, which, if you don't know, the Ham Bandit is one of the characters.
Just go.
Oh, okay, okay. Emmy leapt from rooftop to rooftop with a backpack full of burgers. A beast with a double-layered hamburger for a head galloped behind her, also leaping over the gap. She hadn't planned on the officer being able to keep up, but it wouldn't be a problem. Emmy could change when she needed to. She found a drainage pipe that she could slide down. Her fingers were greasy. They always were, which made it easy to ride the pipe toward the ground with only the faintest squeak. The burger monster growled above her, shook his gloved fist, then turned away. He'd be screaming into his radio and heading for the elevator, thinking he was oh so clever for having another member of the McDonald land mob on the ground to cut her off. She reached ground level. Sure enough, there was Birdie, the giant yellow chicken, at the end of the alleyway. With Birdie ahead and a brick wall behind her, Emmy had no way out. The creature opened her mouth and squawked, revealing a row of needle-sharp teeth lining her beak. "Hand over the hamburgers and it'll hurt less," said Birdie. Emmy clutched the strap of her backpack and slowly backed away.
So, what is this?
So, I feel like younger listeners, which if you're young, you shouldn't be listening to this. This is explicit and bad for kids. Don't be a child.
Don't ever be
Moral
a
of the story,
child.
don't ever be a child. But some of you might not remember, McDonald's used to have a series of mascots along with Ronald McDonald, such as Birdie, who was an awkward yellow bird thing, and Grimace, the purple thing, who kind of looked like a giant purple chicken nugget, and Mayor McCheese, the Hamburglar. I don't remember the officer's name, but he was also a hamburger.
I'm looking at the characters on my phone.
Oh man.
There was Mayor McCheese.
Yep.
And the Hamburglar who went robble robble.
He went robble robble?
Yeah.
Oh, he looked like a totally typical, like, robber. He was just a dude with kind of buck teeth, and he wore the bandit mask.
Like, these were terrifying cartoon type things.
Yeah.
There's the Fry Kids.
Oh, yeah. And they were weird.
Officer Big Mac.
Oh.
And Captain Crook, who's a Filet-O-Fish sandwich.
I have never seen Captain Crook.
And the Hamburger Patch. And the McNugget Buddies.
That's horrific. I
So-
don't want to imagine the McNugget buddies.
So McDonald's had these, like, characters that were terrifying, and usually you saw them in, like, a play place. Like, old play places and
Or, like,
stuff.
in commercials.
Yeah, where they had these, like, terrifying mascot costumes. But nowadays, McDonald's just does, like, contemporary ads. So, obviously, Birdie is just Birdie, the same character, and then, like, the hamburger monster.
Is the Officer Big Mac.
Yeah.
So yes, this is McDonald's circa 1990s ad character erotica.
Yeah.
Get ready.
So that was that what you read was like today, and now we're going back to 1 month ago.
Emmy had almost fallen asleep on the soothing flow of water over her hair. Her pale yellow locks were always so greasy, and she came to this hipster organic spa in Brooklyn almost every week to get a cut and a wash. A deep voice spoke up beside her. "Don't look over." "What?" she asked, starting to raise her head out of the sink. "I said don't." She laid back. "Fine. What do you want?" "I heard you know burgers." "What's it to you?" "I'm somewhat of a fan myself. Meet me in the back section of the thrift shop next door in 15 minutes. When Emmy raised her head to see who would dare talk to her like that, nobody else was in the room. The hairdresser returned a moment later, but even a relaxing scalp massage couldn't slow her beating heart. How did he know she was a hamburger expert? She'd tried to keep that part of her life a secret since hamburgers became illegal. Let's talk about that for a minute. In this universe,
Hamburgers
hamburgers are outlawed.
I'm not a big hamburger person myself, to be honest. So this doesn't affect me. Oh my god.
I feel like I would be displeased if hamburgers were illegal. I mean, they're not a regular meal, but I like them.
Eh.
My mom makes them a lot, so I mean, she'd probably be pretty upset.
Oh. I'm sorry for your mom.
Yeah, Mama Pigeon wouldn't like it. It's one of her 4 mainstays in her recipes: potatoes, chicken, burgers, salad.
Where were we?
Good Irish home cooking.
Secrets of hamburgers community. Curiosity got the better of her. She headed next door and browsed the racks of clothing near the back of the thrift shop.
"I have a proposal."
It said a voice beside her. It was him, the ham bandit himself. Damn, Damn, he looked good these days.
Am I right?
They laughed at him for being the world's top hamburger thief. But when burger prohibition came down, it had become the most lucrative profession in the world. He was probably a billionaire by now. By the looks of him, he'd brought himself a personal trainer and a nose job. Through the red tip of his nose still gave him away. Plus, he still wore his signature red tie with the little burgers printed on it, red gloves and a striped shirt, a wide-brimmed hat, and a mask disguised his identity. I've long been an admirer of yours," said Emmy, trying to keep her cool. "What can I help you with?"
Strangely, the ham bandit's lightly stubbled face turned pink, like undercooked beef. "The admiration is mutual, and I need your help. You know burgers, how they're made, who makes them, where do they go, the whole supply chain. You'd be an asset to our team."
Team?
Some of the others are in. You'd recognize them if I said their names. I'll introduce you if you're in.
She paused a minute, but it was only for show. She would never pass up the opportunity to learn more about the Ham Bandit and his crew. He was one of the originals from back in the day. Legend had it that he had ties with Ronald himself, running the McDonald mob before the St. Patrick's Day massacre tore them apart. Okay, I'm in, she finally said. He held out a piece of brown paper between his red gloved fingers.
This'll tell you where to be and when. Don't get caught with that bag.
He was getting her invested early. The bag was transparent with grease. If she tried to go to the cops, it would be awfully suspicious to have burger paraphernalia on her. She nodded. The Ham Bandit lingered a bit longer, flipping through the clothing. He pulled out a flap of black fabric.
Our cape's still in.
Emmy laughed. She leaned past him, brushing his striped shirt with her bare shoulder as she reached into the rack. Feeling tingly from his touch, she pulled out a black trench coat. I think this suits your new style better. He flashed her a smile that was so dazzling she had to look away. She turned to thank him for coming to her, and he'd already burgled the coat and left. Burgled?
Yeah, he burgled the coat.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, and now we smash cut. But also, can I just say that every time it changes time periods?
There's little burgers.
Yeah, there's like 3 little hamburgers, and then like, today. Birdie stalked toward Emmy. Her talons clicked on the dirty concrete of the alleyway. She was close enough that Emmy could see the bloodstains on the needly teeth of her beak. Emmy took one more step backwards. A window in the next building burst open above. A purple mass fell out of it, then landed right on top of Birdie, flattening her and sending yellow feathers into the air. Grimace! You're right on time! The purple blob of a creature hefted himself off of Birdie, who was knocked out cold. He wiped feathers off his formless body with a mitten-like hand. Just doing what the Burger Man told me, he said. You did good, Grimace. Now let's go. The Ham Bandit needs our help.
1 month ago.
That's why I need your help,
said the Ham Bandit. Captain Criminal, the famed sandwich pirate, stepped forward.
You'll have my sword.
Two of the soft drinks from the Merry Meal Gang bowed. And our straws, they said in unison. And our potatoes, golden on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, said a cardboard box filled with French fries. Grimace nodded.
And my, methyl.
Only Emmy had questions. Why this location? The Hell's Kitchen stash is big, sure, but there are plenty of bigger ones in the city. The Ham Bandit had his mask on, but she could tell he was annoyed.
This is the location I chose,
he said matter-of-factly. But Times Square location is shockingly light on security, and the Five Guys gang has a stash with weaknesses in the...
Look, if you can't find weaknesses in this location, then you're useless to me.
The fries shifted uncomfortably in their box. Grimace turned away, looking like he was on the edge of tears. Emmy held her tongue. She wanted to avoid that place at all costs, but she did know it better than any other. It was one of the original McDonald's factories.
Okay, so
McDonald's.
Small aside, it's not McDonald's, it's McDonald.
And like it's Grimace. Grimace, like the character, it's spelled G-R, like a grimace is in like
the expression. It's supposed to be the expression, but they spelt it like Grimmis.
Yeah. Oh goodness. It was one of the original McDonald factories, staying out of the cops' reach due to well-placed bribes and the greasing of the right wheels. As they moved on to planning the heist, she made sure they wouldn't have to be directly in the main warehouse. Grimace eagerly agreed to help her with the distraction portion of the scheme. So the plan had all the roles filled: the Jane Brown, the Edgeman, the Sphinx, a dozen greasemen, and one very sexy Clooney. Oh
okay, so Am I missing some kind of reference there?
Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12 has a Clooney.
I figured it would be an Ocean's, but small embarrassing admission, I've never seen any of the Ocean's movies. I know I should.
It's like Payday. Like
I mean,
it's Payday but a movie with Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
I really like Payday, and I also really like Brad Pitt and George Clooney, so maybe one of these days.
It took hours of poring over blueprints and bickering over roles, so it is Payday. And when the Ham Bandit looked over the sketch of a plan, the dazzling smile of his return. See, now I'm imagining George Clooney dressed
Just as the
as a
hamburger.
hamburglar, but like a sexy one. I guess it's the point here, not the actual like I'm gonna make the icon of the show the hamburglar.
I should hope so.
Anyway, sketch of a plan. That dazzling smile returned. Your line.
We can't do this. Or we can do this, even if the mayor and the big guy himself both happen to be there. We'll get in under their noses and be out with our food in 10 minutes or less.
Oh my god. The team stuck their fists midst straws and greasy potato sticks together over the blueprints and shouted their chant as one. Rubble,
Rubble, rubble.
Fuck, dude.
Oh, back to today. Emmy took her place near the front door of the building, next to the burger stash. If her calculations were correct, Officer Big Mac would be bursting out of there right about now. He stumbled out, clutching his radio and screaming for an update from Bertie, who was now a flattened chicken patty in the nearby alleyway. The bulging eyes on top of his fresh bun of a head bulged even harder when they saw Grimace looming beside Emmy. Grimace rushed forward and grabbed Officer Big Mac by the collar of his blue frock coat. Big Mac headbutted Grimace, leaving a splotch of grease on his plush purple exterior, then wiggled from his grip and turned to run. Grimace recovered, then sprinted after Big Mac. The chunky purple beast was surprisingly fast. He leapt at Big Mac, then the two of them tumbled to the ground. Grimace ended up on top, where he smashed his massive purple fist into the officer's hamburger-shaped head.
Oh my god.
By the time Emmy caught up, there was a special sauce splashing onto the sidewalk. "Stop!" she shouted. Grimace kept pounding, sending chunks of beef flying. She grabbed Grimace by the arm before he could strike again. "Stop! We only need him out of the picture for 10 minutes, remember?" Grimace leaned back. He wiped sauce, grease, and tears from his face. "Oh, sorry, miss. I'll stop now." The poor thing. He'd been rescued from the same facility they were robbing, and probably had a history with these scumbags. Emmy didn't even want to picture what cruelty they subjected him to while he had been there. It was time for the next phase of the plan. The alarm had been raised, but all the dirtbags behind door 404 in the big brick building next door would be spreading out, looking for Emmy and her single backpack full of burgers. Her small heist was a perfect cover for the biggest heist happening inside. She could see the fries from the Merry Meal gang inching up the side of the building like little worms. They'd easily slid through the vents, getting inside to unlock the doors. The soft drinks would slip through, freezing in place to disguise themselves as trash if anyone came near. They'd make their way to the control room, where they'd spill their sticky contents all over the computer systems. That would shut off the security cameras, blinding the mayor and anyone else who would be watching. It'd give Captain Criminal and the Ham Bandit more than enough time to do their parts. But they'd need Emmy for the finale. She said goodbye to Grimace, then sprinted away for the burger stash. Hopefully one of the cameras was still watching and saw her go. It'd draw even more of them away. Sure enough, she heard a door squeak open behind her. Grimace would make short work of whoever tried to follow. She checked her iWatch as she ran. "In position," texted the Ham Bandit. As she looped around the block and started heading back towards the stash, she got a message from one of the french fries. "The sodas have fizzed. Security system disabled." Wow, everything was going according to plan. Emmy felt her beating heart swell with pride. The plan was predominantly hers, after all, though the Ham Bandit certainly had his own twists to offer, having done this many times before. Now, all she had to do was... Her iWatch vibrated. A text from the Ham Bandit. "Fuck, he's here, the big guy himself. He knew we were coming."
Oh, fuck. 2 weeks ago, the Ham Bandit pointed at a mark on the map laid out on the dinner table.
No, that says the diner's table. They're just planning this heist in a fucking public diner.
Yeah.
You're sure?
"Yes, as long as we time it right," said Emmy. Not Emmy. I've been watching them for years. It's a tight operation. The delivery trucks get filled by noon, and there's no key in the building. Keeping it off-site prevents some random nugget from driving off for the burgers, see? So the key is in a hidden location, where the driver picks it up, does their deliveries, returns the truck, and then hides the key again.
And you know where this hidden location is?
I do. He smirked, his mask crinkling.
"But you're not going to tell me."
Emmy raised her eyebrows at him, remaining silent.
"Fine," he said. "We just have to hope that the big guy isn't near the loading dock."
The big guy. Rumor was that he had been in the burger running game from the beginning, even before hamburgers became illegal. He was known to many names. The man in the big red shoes. The dancing clown. Ron. He used to be alright. An upstanding citizen, more or less. He even ran a house for sick kids, for Christ's sake. Nobody knows what happened to turn him so rotten. The mayor could be some trouble, too, said Emmy.
I guess he'd be less of a problem if you left the distraction and key running to Grimace to take care of him yourself.
The hand bandit studied her face as something became awkward between them. Some unstated conflict beyond the disagreement about who would play each role. Fine, Captain Criminal will hold off the mayor, and you get to stay away and keep the key location secret. Oh, that's your line.
That was my line. I'm sorry.
No, this person didn't write down.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Amy felt her face turn pink. She hoped she wouldn't push her on why she was taking such a length to avoid the mayor. To change the subject, I bet she fucked the mayor. To change the subject, she lashed out. Like you get to keep your identity secret? His mask bunched in the middle as anger flashed across his face. Then he seemed to reconsider his reaction, transitioning to an easy smile.
What kind of a rogue would I be without a mask?
Just like that, the tension eased. She smiled back at him and shifted a bit closer to him in the booth. Hopefully not the kind that ends up in jail or dead. I'm starting to like this rogue. He let out an awkward giggle, sounding embarrassed. When he raised his head, their gazes locked together like eggs in a muffin. His eyes were so damn pretty.
Just so damn pretty.
Emmy leaned toward him, knowing how wrong their pairing would be, but viscerally willing to give it a taste. He licked his lips. She was close enough to see the individual hairs of his burgundy stubble. The bell above the door to their private diner jingled, startling Emmy. She scrambled back, nearly falling off the booth's bench. A pirate burst into the room. He wore a pink velour. He wore a pink velour coat with only one button done up.
Excuse you, that's velour.
Velour, sorry. That's a typo. He wore a pink velour coat with only one button done up. A hat taller than his head with a letter C on the front. Captain Criminal always showed up the worst times. He approached them with a suspicious look on his face.
Okay, what was Captain Criminal's voice again?
Stupid.
What are you two doing?
Yeah, there you go. The ham bandit cleared his throat.
Just reviewing the plan. What do you think?
The pirate studied the blueprints and notes for a moment.
Terrible!
He said.
Worst plan I've ever seen!
Captain, you're the biggest asshole I know. Now let's review this one more time to make sure we don't end up ground into mincemeat.
Back to today. Emmy skidded to a halt. Her heart raced a zillion miles an hour. She asked her iWatch to send a message. You okay? Should I proceed? The plan was a disaster. The big guy had known they were coming. How? It couldn't have been coincidence that out of all the burger stashes in the world, out of all the days, he happened to be at that stash on this day. When the ham bandit didn't answer her, she decided to follow her heart. She would have been better off running away, leaving the rogue to the burger-running scumbags, but some deep-down part of her couldn't do that. The ham bandit wasn't the type of person who would leave a partner in crime behind, and she wasn't either. She passed one of the fries that unlocked the back loading dock as it quickly squirmed away. The garage door was partially open, so she continued to run, then shouldered the door open and raised her fists. Sure enough, there he was, the big guy. Ron was getting on in years. White and red makeup flaked and crumbled around the wrinkles and folds on his face. His curly red puff of red hair had deep roots of gray, and his yellow jumpsuit with striped arms was covered in grease, with splashes of something darker, redder. But it was definitely the dancing clown. And he definitely had the ham bandit gripped tightly in a headlock with what looked like a sharpened human bone held to the masked man's throat. Who's going to be Ronald?
Tim Curry.
Oh. Ah, your accomplice has arrived, said Ron. He stood near a delivery truck in the small loading dock. Let him go, shouted Emmy. It's okay, said the ham bandit. Run while you can. Ron laughed, a well-practiced act to sound more pleasant than he was. Such a noble thing. Have you finally found yourself a girlfriend, you pathetic troll? His voice was light and exaggerated, even as it dripped venom. The ham bandit suddenly ducked forward and flipped Ron over his shoulder. The clown crashed into a pile of boxes near the truck, sending frozen all-beef patties scattering. Who's the pathetic one? Shouted the ham bandit, his voice strained with emotion. You used to do this for the children. They moved on to something better, something healthier, yet you persist in peddling your greasy garbage to them. Parading out the same old tricks you've pulled since the 70s. Ron was spry for an old dude. He arched his back and flipped onto his feet, his oversized shoes squeaking when they hit the concrete, his face twisted in frustration. When we're not so different, you and I, he said, sauntering forward. You have a new jacket and a new body, but here you are, burgling hamburgers like you always have. The ham bandit turned bright red. Both of them growled with long, buried hatred, then barreling towards each other. As they fought, it was like watching a milkshake in a blender, with colored fists flying every which way and liquid occasionally splashing to the floor. Emmy gawked, helpless, and as the ham bandit matched the old clown's every move, dodging a gloved fist here, a big-footed roundhouse there, his red tie followed each movement, floating silky and elegant like him, and she couldn't help but get a little turned on by his passion and roguish skill. She snapped out of it. The keys were digging into her clenched fist. The truck, if she started it, they could drive out of there as soon as the ham bandit took out Ron. Then she turned around. She found the mayor blocking the entryway. A hardened expression sat on his cheeseburger of a head, but it twisted in surprise when he saw Emmy. "It's you!" he said, stepping back, reaching to grab his purple top hat before it tumbled from his head. "You! Damn it!" she shouted, nearly dropping her keys. Captain Criminal rounded the truck. What a relief. This was getting awkward. He'd be able to sneak up behind the mayor and knock him out, then go to the ham bandit. Except, instead of taking out the mayor, the pirate captain put a hand on the shoulder of the burger man's pink coat. He playfully spun his sword around a few times. Shit, which was his voice?
Stupid.
Uh,
Skeletor.
"Hello, Emmy,"
There
he
you go.
said. It was you who told Ron we were coming. Damn it, Captain Criminal. I never would have expected deception from someone like you. "I just go where the sandwiches are, my dear. Stealing them is fun, but making them is even better." The mustard stains on the captain's ruffled scarf told Emmy that he'd been doing more than making them. Yes, well," the mayor stammered. Please tie both of these thieves up. I have business to attend to." With that, he turned and ran, which was probably for the best. It was just Emmy's luck that he would show up. She's definitely used to fuck Mayor McCheese. Captain Criminal advanced, raising his sword. His face was puffy and his eyes were glassy from all the fast food. Emmy should have seen the signs earlier. Now it was too late. She risked a glance back, just as Ron launched into a flying kick that connected with the ham bandit's neck. As the ham bandit struggled for breath, Ron raised a box of frozen hamburgers above his head, ready to smash her ally's head in with it. Emmy raised her fist, even though they would be no match for the captain's sword. "Duh!" came a shout from the entryway. Grimace barreled into the captain, knocking him to the floor. The purple blob monster got up, then continued forward. He leapt at Ron just as he was about to smash the ham bandit's face in. The clown tumbled to the ground, pinned by Grimace. The captain was only stunned for a moment. He got to his feet, and seeing his new boss in trouble, rushed to help. The ham bandit sprinted to Emmy. He ran his hands up and down her striped sleeves. "Are you okay?" he asked. Emmy nodded. She looked past him to where Grimace defended himself from the clown on one side and the captain on the other. Thick white fluid poured from his mitt of a hand when he grabbed the captain's sword to keep it from slicing his throat. His arm shook with the strain. Grimace's eyes met the ham bandit's. A milky tear trickled from the monster's eye. An unspoken understanding passed between them. "Let's go," said the ham bandit. Emmy shook her head. "But what about—" "We're going." The keys unlocked the truck. The ham bandit got in the passenger side. Emmy kicked on the ignition, then squealed away. She sniffed back a tear as the rearview mirror showed Grimace collapsing to the ground as the two men descended on with a sword and a pair of big red shoes.
Oh, he sacrificed himself to save them. The next day. The ham bandit tossed his spatula in the air, letting it somersault 3 times before catching it, then expertly flipped 5 beef patties. I've been drinking. Then expertly flipped 5 beef patties onto the grill in rapid succession. Over his shoulder, he smirked at Emmy, clearly pleased with himself. "Nice move," she said. It was quite the view. He'd taken off his coat and rolled up the sleeves of his striped shirt, but it didn't keep a line of sweat from trickling past his mask and down his lightly stubbled face. The sun beamed down on the secret backyard compound with the vintage barbecue, which sent wave after wave of delicious burger smell her way.
"Listen," he said. "Thanks for hanging back to help get these burgers ready."
"You are so welcome," she said, laying back on a lawn chair and fanning herself. His shirt was lazily half-tucked into his skinny black jeans, just tight enough for her to see the shape of his body. He obviously worked out, but also enjoyed a hearty meal after a few beers, making his belly stick out just a little bit. Total dad bod.
I was so hoping they weren't going to say that, but I mean...
It's written right there in the fucking text!
I know!
Yet, she still had no idea what his face looked like behind the mask. I'd like to mention that the actual character wears a domino mask, like a little highwayman like
Yeah,
Zorro mask.
Like just a strip of cloth over the eyes.
He flipped the last of the patties into buns, then tossed them onto a pallet to get ready for loading into the truck again. The pile was at least 20 layers of 50 burgers, the largest collection she'd ever seen outside of old photos.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It sure is, she said. Pardon me. But she was staring directly at him. The meaty smell was intoxicating. That's his line.
Don't you wish we could eat one? Just one.
Emmy sighed. Sure do, but it wouldn't be right. We need to think of the children. What sort of example does it set when we adults recklessly abuse our bodies with such unhealthy and unethically produced garbage? Fuck you. Fuck you.
That's a good message, said the ham bandit.
They stood side by side, staring at the pile. But still, she said.
He chuckled. But still, it's frustrating being so close to fulfilling our desires, yet so far away.
She could see the frustration in his face. Her own pent-up desires danced inside her like a grease on a griddle. Except it just wasn't hunger. She just wants to fuck him.
She wants to fuck the ham bandit.
She tentatively reached out and grasped his red-gloved hand. We did it. We pulled it off, she said, squeezing. He squeezed her hand back.
I want you so bad.
Oh my god! She gasped in a long overdue surprise. He turned to her and kissed her deeply. She wrapped her arms around his dad bod. The smell of charred meat infused his skin, enhanced by his own savory sweat. His mouth had the distant smoky taste of a former burger addict. She wanted to devour him. She needed him inside of her. Take your gloves off, she demanded. He did. And your hat. He did, feeling his wiry red hair. Your shirt, tie too. He did. Wow. The mask? He held a finger up to his lips, then shook his head. Fuck it! The masked man's eyes were sexier than any other man's entire face. She kissed him again as she reached down to undo his jeans. He helped her peel them down over his legs, like unwrapping a chicken snack wrap.
All rights reserved.
Like a chicken snack wrap, and the all rights reserved thing is actually in there.
Yeah.
After a long day, she unpackaged her own body and tossed her clothes aside. He took off his boxer shorts. His pink sausage was thick and juicy. It glistened like a tube of ground beef fresh from the butcher. You know what? This is what I wanted out of that KFC erotic novel.
Yeah.
But it's in this one.
I mean, we finally got there. We did it. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna skip over that.
No.
Okay.
No, you have to.
Okay, let me
just finish all of that. Just pound that, and
Emmy took it in her mouth, letting it satisfy her desires. A dash of pre-cum, that's spelt wrong,
Wow.
provided just the right seasoning to his savory goodness. She flicked her tongue over his head, enjoying the feeling of it almost as much as he seemed to be.
Oh God, robble, 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 he shouted.
She pulled back before he could come. This was only the appetizer. That deliciously naughty smile of his returned. He scooped her up in his arms and gently placed her on the bed of burgers. She felt the soft kiss of every sesame bun against her back. She was salivating from her ladyhood, ew, dripping all over the burgers as she hungered for his touch, double ew. Finally, he stuck his calloused fingers inside of her. With the same skill he had for grilling, he heated her up in all the right places, leaving her just raw enough to stay juicy.
Flip over, he said.
Exactly, when she was ready. She complied, resting her elbows on the buns below, and raising her own buns in the air. He leaned back and grabbed his red tie, the one with the little red burgers printed on it. He lightly draped it around her neck.
Is this okay? He asked.
Oh, ham bandit, it's delectable, she said, feeling the silk against her neck. Now get inside me before I waste away. Oh my God. The tie tightened around her neck. Finally, she got what she had been waiting for since the day she had met him. He stuffed his all-beef patty between her fresh buns. She felt full and happy and sated. The ham bandit pulled at the tie around her neck as he pounded her, riding her like a bucking bull. The smell of the burgers underneath them, still hot, wafted up. Emmy was losing control. A little voice inside of her told her it wasn't a good idea to lose control, not with the secret she'd been keeping from a new lover. But she was past the point of no return. Drool poured out of her mouth, sweat dripped off her body. Grease sizzles inside her quarter-pounded pussy.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna
Jesus
put
Christ.
an additional warning on the front of this one. She started to come, losing herself in the pleasure spreading through her body, satisfying more deeply than a milkshake on a hot day.
Robble, shouted the ham bandit.
He pulled out and covered her arch back in his special sauce. Emmy flipped over and collapsed, still writhing in pleasure, onto the bed of hamburgers now soaked in a kaleidoscope of fluids. That's fucking gross. Oh my god. The ham bandit knelt beside her. A self-satisfied grin filled his face. His grin disappeared when she noticed that Emmy was still thrashing about. Her pleasure started turning into pain.
What's wrong? He began.
But she already lost control, and then the transformation happened quickly. The skin of her face stretched like a balloon as her head grew. She developed a double chin. At first she thought she was undergoing an accelerating reaction to the burgers. What the fuck is happening? Oh, then her hair weaved itself into the shape, but she's a ham... Oh my god.
Oh my god, she's Mary McCheese's daughter.
But then her hair weaved itself into the shape of a sesame seed bun. Her second chin bulged out the size of her neck and continued into her head, forming into a second bun. In the middle, her face squished down into a lumpy shape of a hamburger patty. Her eyes and nose disappeared among the wriggling mass of beef, but then reappeared on the top of her head, bulging from the bun. Finally, cheese globbed between the burger and the top bun. Tears of mayonnaise oozed from her eyes. The ham bandit eased back from the bed of burgers and held his hands up in front of him.
Whoa now. What the hell?
I'm sorry, she said through sobs, the meat of her patty separating from the top bun to form mouth. I should have told you. I'm so embarrassed. It happens when I get too excited. I got it from my father's side. Seeing him today was just so much stress, and I was so relieved to be out of there and to be with you. And...
You're the mayor's daughter, he said.
She sniffed and nodded.
And mental McCheese. I should have seen the connection when I did your background check.
I'll just go, she said, hefting the giant head up and turning to jump off the burger pile. The ham bandit put a hand on her bare shoulder. Her body was still entirely human.
Wait, it's okay. I have a secret too.
He reached behind him, making his medium-sized biceps bulge. With the back of his mask untied, it tumbled off his face. She immediately knew what secret he was referring to, with the small area immediately around his eyes revealed. She was able to take in the entirety of his face, the red nose, the friendly smile, the curly red hair. He looked just like the man in the big red shoes. You're Ronald McDonald's son, she exclaimed.
Yes, he said. I'm surprised nobody else figured it out. How else would I be so tight with the McDonald land mob? Why else would he let me get away with all the heists I pulled back when hamburgers were legal? Not to mention the physical similarities. Yes, unfortunately, the ham bandit is the clown's son.
His hand was still on her shoulder, but now it was her hand. It was her turn to put her hand on his. I'm still with you, she said softly. Seeing that smile of his spread across his entire face like a soft butter on a bun made her wet all over again.
I'm with you, he said.
He was hard again. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
He looked down at his meat stick, then back up at her, slightly embarrassed with a seductive look back in his eyes. She picked up the red tie and looped it around the back of his neck, then licked lips made of glistening beef and moist bun, and she pulled him forward and kissed him. Moments later, he was slipping in and out between a layer of American cheese and a hot all-beef patty in the backside of her hamburger head. I'm loving it, she cried. Holy fuck, dude.
The next night, Emmy drove the truck through a massive pair of gates that towered as high as the trees. Men with guns rushed to close the gate behind her. The clearing in the forest was lit by spotlights attached to a rumbling generator. You sure this is safe? Asked Emmy before shutting off the truck. Don't worry, he's good, said the ham bandit. He gave her arm a squeeze before hopping out of the truck. She followed behind him. Both of them were back in their disguises, him in his mask, her in her human form. A man dressed in a white suit stood beside a high steel-barred fence.
No!
He held a cane in one hand. The ham bandit reached out to shake his other hand as they approached. Colonel, it's good to see you again. The Colonel's white goatee practically glowed in the spotlights. He flashed a grim smile under thick grease-smudged glasses. You're just in time. She's been cranky. An ear-splitting roar came from behind the fence. Emmy squinted to see where it was coming from, but the spotlight's reach was limited, so she could only get a vague sense of movement in the darkness. As the Colonel and the ham bandit chatted like old friends, people in armor with funny-looking guns strapped to their backs began unloading the truck. One of them tossed an armful of hamburgers onto a cart that hung from a thick chain. Listen, thanks for taking these off my hands, said the ham bandit. The Colonel stared grimly at the fenced compound. It is a necessity, my friend. I promised old Dave, God rest his soul, that I'd take care of her. Besides, the burgers are better off with her than in the hands of children and junkies, right? Emmy heard a deep growl from behind the fence. Going along with that sense of movement were heavy footsteps, so heavy that she could feel the ground vibrate under her feet. She stepped closer to the soldier unloading the burgers. Now she could see that the gun held tranquilizer darts topped with needles thicker than a milkshake straw. The burgers piled onto the cart must have had 100 burgers on it. The soldier gave a signal, then the chain on the cart became taut. It was lifted into the air, then, following a pulley system, reached over the fence, began to lower into the compound. The ground shook again, and the creature behind the fence stomped into the glow of the spotlights. It was more horrible than Emmy could imagine, but she couldn't look away. The creature was bigger than a T-Rex, but far less sexy. It was vaguely human, with bright red hair atop its freckles. Childish face arranged into a hair of pigtails, head in place by chains thicker than Emmy's arms. It lowered its head, its mouth drooling, and gave the pile of hamburgers a single sniff before devouring half the pile in one bite. Easy, girl, said the Colonel. Now that's better. Good girl, Wendy. The thing snapped its head back, gulping down the burgers. It wore a greasy blue and white striped tarp wrapped around its bulging body that may have been a circus tent at some point. Emmy pitied the thing. Being half burger, she both feared the creature's insatiable hunger and related with its monstrosity. The way she was looking at it. God damn, it was the same way her human mother had looked at Emmy whenever she transformed. To be honest, she also felt a bit guilty about having sex on the burgers it was eating. She looked at the Colonel, who coughed and leaned shakily on his cane as he sadly watched it eat. Then she looked at the ham bandit, who smiled at her. His eyes twinkled with love and adventure. He was probably thinking about the same thing she was. They were gonna need more burgers.
The end.
I was not prepared for that.
No, neither was I. I'm glad I had this beer.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. What the fuck?
Obviously
a parody. Like, obviously.
I mean...
For all those people who are like, oh, it's serious.
No,
it's a parody.
it's very obviously not. But I mean...
I like that there was other fast food.
God damn.
I like that there were...
You like that Colonel Sanders finally showed up in an actual erotica novel.
Even if he didn't fuck anyone?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
So in the back of this book, though, we are blessed by a paragraph of also by Leonard Delaney, motherfucking wizards.
Lenny takes on Harry Potter. Peter Harrison is not a wizard. He's just a regular guy, too broke and lazy to escape living in his uncle's basement. It's not exactly paradise, so when a case of mistaken identity leads to a white van coming to take him to a wizarding school, he's happy to be whisked away. He's also pleased to discover that all the teachers are all beautiful women, but when they take a sexual interest in Peter for no reason, his secret is dangerously close to being discovered. Plus, these wizards seem to have a dark secret, and getting kicked out of the school will be the least of Peter's worries if they find out he's not a wizard. Motherfucking Wizards is an erotic mashup of explicit sex stuff and badass sorcerers. What super author Leonard Delaney lacks in experience, he makes up for in the magic of imagination. This novella is for awesome adults only. So what do you think of that one?
I was frightened at times, and I was disturbed at others.
I was upset.
Yeah.
I was upset.
Yeah.
I was very upset at, but also amused at so many fast food euphemisms.
Yeah. Oh. Also, he legit just described face fucking a hamburger person at the end. That's a thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Like I said, this is what I wanted the KFC novel to be. But it's McDonald's. And that happened.
It's over now, though. It can't hurt us anymore. Except every time you close your eyes.
I pass the curse on to everyone who listens to this podcast! Get it. Stop. I want some McDonald's. Let's go.